Two of the virtues that this ministry requires as we begin to explore how to carry out healing after abortion are, on the one hand, humility, and on the other, great confidence. As we think about people coming, seeking reconciliation and healing after their abortion, we need to have the humility that says, we're not the ones who are affecting the change here. We're not the source of the mercy and the reconciliation. And yet, there is a danger of a false humility getting in the way of us doing our work. Because the false humility will say, well, because I am nothing, and that's true, every good that we have and all the good that we are comes from God, we of ourselves can claim no merit. But a false humility says, because I am nothing, therefore I can do nothing. And when somebody needs healing and needs reconciliation or needs the truth that comes from the gospel, we may be tempted to say, well, who am I that they should come to me? Well, on the one hand, we're nothing. On the other hand, God uses our nothingness precisely to be a vehicle of that healing. So confidence, the message is not ours, the means of grace are not originating with us. But he has in fact chosen us, he has in fact chosen you to be a vessel, to be an instrument of that healing. Otherwise, he wouldn't call us at all. If in fact he doesn't need us, well then he can just heal and reconcile and invite people all by himself. He can communicate directly to their minds, directly to their souls. But no, instead he establishes the church. Instead he calls you and me to be aware of the wounds that come from abortion, to be ready to bring people to that healing. And so he asks us to have a tremendous amount of confidence. It's not because of anything we have, our own intelligence, our own creativity, that people ultimately are reconciled, but God does give us those gifts to use in order to bring them to the grace that he himself bestows. So we move forward with a tremendous amount of confidence. Confidence that even though we don't understand how we can rouse a soul out of the depths of despair and bring them back to God, that nevertheless he knows, and he's using us as an instrument. The apostles, when they proclaimed the resurrection, we read at various points in the Bible that people mistakenly began to worship them or to honor them as the fountain and source of this healing. And the apostles at a number of points had to stop people from offering sacrifice to them. And they said, no, we're delivering you a message that will take you away precisely from these kinds of errors, to think that human beings are the ones that have to be worshipped. We're pointing you to the true God. And yet they weren't afraid to exercise mighty miracles in the name of Jesus. They weren't afraid to say to the sick, be healed, and even to say to the dead, be raised up. And so it is with us. We're in the very same circumstance. We face an evil which, if we just face it alone as human beings, we have no idea how to fix. And yet when we come with that deep confidence, knowing that it is the full power of the resurrection that is going to work through us, and the full power of Christ's truth that's going to speak through us, then we can run towards that evil. We can run towards the wound. We can look at this tragedy in the face and say, we are able to do something about this. There's a Christian song that is called Towards the Roar. And what it says is, if you hear a lion roaring in the distance as you're doing God's work, don't follow the normal human tendency to run away from the sound of the roar. Run towards it. When we begin to understand all the damage that abortion has done to the human person, to the human psyche, to the human family, to society and culture, it's like the roaring of a lion. It's downright scary. And yet we need to run towards it because we have the power of the gospel to bring the healing that's necessary.